Team A opening speaker. Toastmaster Anil. Parents should limit the amount of time their children spend on technology. Toastmaster Anil, welcome to debate for the motion. Toastmaster Anil, over to you.
Good morning, Toastmasters. In order to develop healthy attitudes towards children and technology, my team and I are strongly in favor of this motion. Yes, parents should limit the amount of time their children spend on technology. First of all, let me call your attention to a study from National Institute and Health in more than 11,000 American children, which says more than 2 hours of screen time in a day lead to short and long-term health problems. Includes increased rates of obesity, negative effects on sleep, development delays, including social, emotional, cognitive, and language problems. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends are against any screen usage under 18 months. And for younger children, age 2 to 5, the recommended limit is 1 hour per day. The new warning from the American Hospital Association recommends parents limit screen time for kids to a maximum of just 2 hours per day. As I insisted earlier, more screen time has linked to mental health damage. The blue light from the screens hinder their ability to fall asleep and an increase in suicide rate. In addition to these issues, the screen time can take into account some other risks too, such as phishing, cyberbullying, accessing unsafe material, and communication with the unknown persons that can open the door for radicalization. Now, the question is that what parents can do. Parents must spend time with their kids. Encourage children to play outside and have face-to-face interaction with their peers. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that parents, guardians engage in co-viewing. That means when parents watch video material, anything with infants, no tech time in evenings and mealtime, and much more than that. Set example for your kids and to be a model for them. So my team, I are strongly in favor of this motion. Yes, parents should limit the amount of time their children spend on technology. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anil. Now, Team B opening speaker, Toastmaster Bindu. Toastmaster Bindu, over to you. Parents should limit the amount of time their children spend on technology. You are against the motion. Toastmaster Bindu.
Freedom gives room for creativity. We are against the motion that parents should limit the amount of time the children spend on technology. If parents know what technology is and of the effects of limiting the children is, they would never hinder that. Effects of limiting children can have detrimental effects. A Michigan-based therapist, Carrie Rovick, said, if children feel that they can't do things in the right way, they may defer to parents, which interferes their self-belief or self-confidence. Or they can also grow up to question their parents' intensity and seek their feedback, and not seek this feedback, even if it is safe to do so. A 19-year-long study of people around from age up to 32 found that kids with controlling parents are less likely to have academic achievements, supportive friendships or relationships, low scores in surveys of happiness and general well-being. Child Development published a study of people born in the 1940s till date, which resulted that parents who exert too much control over their children could be causing them lifetime or lifelong psychological damage. On the other hand, parents who are more caring and more responsive to their children's needs tend to be more content until their early adulthood. With the current issues of the world, be the pandemic or rather health issues, poverty, water scarcity, the solution is technology. And technology allows for creativity and freedom of expression, independence and empowerment, improves problem solving and perseverance, instills entrepreneurial spirit. According to the statistics generated for a recent New Tech infographic, the use of technology can not only boost collaboration and opportunities in student retention, but also make information more accessible. About 95% of students with connectivity use the internet for research. Only unlimited access to technology can lead to more personalities like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, or Bill Gates. Autonomy is important, and children who are tech savvy with innovative solutions will be better prepared for a predominantly digital era. Today, where schools are closed, technology assists learning. I, as a parent, personally witness many instances where my 10-year-old helps me with technical glitches. Parents naturally is worried about kids accessing inappropriate content online, but limiting is not the solution. Parents should teach the children the healthy use and provide the freedom to choose, but ensure they're aware of the consequence of their choice. Today's children or youth are the future, and future is definitely technology, which should not be limited. And again, reiterate, freedom gives room for creativity. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bindu. Now let me welcome Team B rebuttal speaker, Toastmaster Srinidhi Sharma. Toastmaster Srinidhi, over to you.
An argument is like a light bulb. An argument is like a light bulb. Today, I'm sorry to say, but our worthy opponents lack the electricity of logic, because of which we could not see the light in their arguments. Dear Toastmasters and guests, let me walk you through several areas in which the arguments in my worthy opponent's debate opening was completely flawed. Number one, most of the arguments rest on facts and figures. If you heard them clearly, most of the research was based on research organizations in the USA. For example, National Institute of Health, where USA. American Academy of Pediatrics, where USA. American Hospital Association, again, USA. So USA is just 300 million people in its population. The global population is 7 billion plus. So just having research facts from USA is not representative for the entire world. Hence, all the arguments made by them holds good only for the 300 million, but not for the entire 7 billion, which is why when you look at an argument, you should look at it globally. And hence, all of the research that they cited will not hold good at all, because it is not global. Point number one. Point number two, all of this research done, even if it was done just for USA, at which point in time was it done? Was it 2011? Was it 2020? Or was it 1600s? Because I'm sure most of these research done in the US would have been in the 1600s, 300, 400 years ago, because we didn't know the time at which the research was done. So since they have not cited the date or time of the research, we know that the research is not contemporary at all. It is not of today's day and age. It is sometime long back. And hence, all of the research is not relevant. So number one, the research was only US specific. Number two, there was no time mentioned. So hence, we don't know if it's even relevant in today's day and age or not. Thirdly, even if it was just USA, all of you know that there's a lot of paid research that happens in USA by organizations which have self-interest, their own vested interest that needs to be furthered. So it's always a bad idea to quote US research organizations. So hence, I can easily disprove that all the arguments stated by our worthy opponents is totally false, because it's just based on USA, where there's a lot of paid research, and also there was no time mentioned. Couple of other points. Our worthy opponents mentioned that by not limiting the use of technology, children will be faced to phishing, cyberbullying, and communication with unknown persons for radicalization. Now, how do we know that all of these will not happen even if the time is constrained? For example, if the kids are allowed to play with technology for 3 hours, will they then be exposed to radicalization? Or if they be limited to 1 hour, will they not be exposed to radicalization? So that part is not clear at all. So instead of looking at technology, change the ecosystem around you. Technology is just an enabler. So all in all, I must say that I think our worthy opponents took the debate topic too seriously, and that's why they limited the use of their own technology while researching for this debate. Had they not done that, they would have been able to come up with better arguments. Thank you, and over to you, Tia Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srinidhi. Now, let me welcome Team A rebuttal speaker, DTM Hashim Halim. DTM Hashim Halim, over to you.
Thank you, moderator. Good morning, everyone. The motion on the floor is parents should limit amount of time that their children spend on technology, and our team is in favor of this motion. Our worthy opponents tried to pull wool over our eyes by bringing numbers and data and all sorts of paraphernalia to somehow say that technology is great, etc. First of all, the topic is not whether technology is useful or not. The topic is only if parents should limit the amount of time that children spend on technology. The first point that they brought about was some data from a therapist in Michigan University. There are therapists over here in Karama, in Sharjah, etc. as well. I don't know what is the relevance of some unknown therapist in Michigan. Michigan, by the way, is in USA, okay? That tells that children who are limited do not have their self-belief. She went on to portray that there was a study conducted for data from the 1940s, which is ancient time, by the way, that children whose parents control them have mental and other kind of communication issues as they grow older. Again, in the 1940s, what kind of technology limitation are we talking about? There are no phones, there's no iPads, there are no tablets, there's no access to the mass media that we have today. So the current scenario is not relevant for a study based on children who grew up in the 1940s. So that study is completely irrelevant. When we speak about technology, I think we need to talk about the last couple of years only. Next, they went on, the next 3 points that they mentioned were about that technology is the solution in current scenarios. Nobody is disagreeing with that. The question here is only how much time should we allow our children to spend on technology? So I think they've lost track with all the bandwidth that was available to them. I think their connection got a bit disconnected. The next point, the last point that my worthy opponent brought about was that to become the next Jeff Bezos or the Bill Gates, you need to have technology. If you remember, Steve Jobs himself had mentioned that they limit the use of their children to iPads in an interview with New York Times in 2011. So there's absolutely nothing here that supports anything to do with the amount of time which children should spend on technology. I think the massive amount of bandwidth has totally distorted this connection. So I think they need to relook at their technology use as well. So with this, I rest my case that parents should limit amount of time that their children spend on technology. Back to the moderator.
Thank you, DTM Hashim Halim. Now may I invite Team B, closing speaker, Toastmaster Anaka.
If parents know the effects of limiting their children, they will also know that it can have a detrimental effect on their self-confidence and self-belief. If children actually feel that they can't do anything that by themselves, they will defer to their parents, but it will lack their ability to make their own decisions. They could question their parents, but never actually seek their feedback even when it's actually needed. The 19-year-old long study from 1940 till date suggested that kids with controlling parents are less likely to have academic achievements, supportive friendships, and relationships. It can have lifelong psychological effects for them. On the other hand, if parents are caring and loving and have an open dialogue, they can make sure that children can go on to become contented adults. With the current issues of the world, like the prevalent pandemic and poverty and unemployment, technology promotes creativity, freedom, independence, and empowerment. It will give the children problem-solving abilities. The facts and figures were the US-based facts and figures are not to be taken globally. The date and time also needs to be considered. The fact of limiting children's technology cannot necessarily mean that the children are away from inappropriate sites. So I would like to conclude by saying that we are against the motion of parents limiting children's technology. Thank you, and over to the moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anaka. Now let me invite Team A closing speaker, Toastmaster Rajesh Kunjangad. Toastmaster Rajesh Kunjangad, over to you.
Good morning, my dear fellow Toastmasters. As my open and liberal speaker mentioned, children's hours of use of technological devices will lead to short and long-term health problems, include obesity, negative effects on sleep, development delays, including social, emotional, cognitive, and language problems. It won't stop there. Some other issues also, such as phishing, cyberbullying, accessing unsafe material, and communication with unknown persons that can open the door for radicalization, including suicide. I urge the House to accept the motion that parents should limit the amount of time their children spend on technology. Thank you. Over to the moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh. Thank you, Team A and Team B participants. And over to DTM Aravindakshan for his comments. DTM Aravindakshan, yeah.
And debated on a very important topic. I believe this topic is so relevant, especially in the times of both children and parents are sitting before computer in work and study. So what are the highlights of today's debate? The first one is all team members are prepared very well. They know their role very well. They researched very well. The second thing is the collaboration. Team coordination is excellent. And they took all the team members with a single idea and everyone spoke about the topic very well. And they completed the protocol, that ethics and protocol related to debate and recognizing respect to the worthy opponents, that they did very well. Instead of brutally attacking, that is the one discipline we learned from Toastmasters, they strictly followed that. And one area I thought, maybe this is my personal opinion, the topic is parents should limit the amount of time children spend on technology. I understand both the team restricted their discussion on only internet technology and computer. Technology can include anything. So I expected some powerful statement like, if parents restricting the children to stop using technology, how we can develop great scientists like Thomas Alva Edison. Like that brilliant way should have gone. My personal opinion that maybe the definition of the topic, understanding the topic is so important, as DTM Arigaran mentioned. Now let me comment on each speakers. First, Toastmaster Anil started the opening speech brilliantly. Research, content, value driver, because it highlighted the importance of restricting the parents restricting children, and his message is so clear and very clear, and only suggestion that is directly attacked by the rebuttal speaker, Toastmaster Sindhi. He purely based his research into the America. The first 2 pages of Google, as mentioned by DTM Arigaran. Maybe you can go to second, third, sixth pages of the Google for a detailed research on that. And second speaker, Toastmaster Bindu, very thorough research, and she highlighted the main essence of the topic, that freedom and creativity and time for collaboration and growth and children's problem related to the absence of freedom. All these points very much highlighted. One big point that is straight away attacked by DTM Hashim. The research is something that 1940s, and that is for years. That is maybe we are we are ourselves making a hole in our ship for that other water can enter. So make it protected. With your essence is speech, essence is so good, but research reference, maybe we can put something else. But that's essence. And third speaker, Toastmaster Srinidhi, highlighted. I understood all the points, attacked so well, so nicely with a lot of respect. Only suggestion, I think Toastmasters that I first told understanding of the topic. Mainly, the Anil talked about screen time and all, but the technology doesn't involve only screen time. That could also be easily attacked. Toastmaster Hashim, again, as I told, attacked, understood the weak point of the speech, opening speech. Even if we, as a normal audience, we found this Toastmaster Bindu's speech is so excellent, par excellence, and she did her role best and prepared very well. But he correctly identified the weakness in that. This is a learning for all of us. Even if, as an opening speaker, if you are debating, participate in debate, first scrutinize our content to close all the loopholes and make it so important. And Toastmaster Hashim, one area I have comment. You attacked straight away to the source of the topic, but some of the issues she highlighted, like freedom, creativity, learning, and growth, all these things I think did not got enough attention in your rebuttal speech. Toastmaster Anaka closed the speech with fully understanding her role, summarized the points and all the points and well summarized, no other comment. Toastmaster Rajesh also summarized very well. Only comment I have is he spoke very less. Maybe could have used all the time, the 2 minutes time. Overall, great time. I believe audience members, all the audience enjoyed the moments you created for us. Have a great input for all of us to take to the home. Thank you very much.